Well, if you can't communicate and talk to other people and get across your ideas, that means you're losing your potential. Warren Buffett. Hello everybody. Hello dear students. Thank you for joining my lessons. Happy to see you here. Let's cover all Unit 8. Well, actually in this unit you can use a couple of services as I have mentioned in the previous lessons. Well, in this lesson, in the lesson 3, we continue our last theme at the hairdresser. Well, in this unit, as I have already mentioned, you have learned how to arrange someone to do something. You ask a person to do something for you, not for themselves. And learning how to make an appointment, we have already started in the last lesson. And learning to give advice. Vocabulary relating to industries, learning how to organize joint ventures. Well, lesson 1, have something done. I had my shoe heel fixed. That means you broke your shoe heel and you ask a person who can fix it professionally. And I had my hair cut. You go to the hairdresser and you will have a haircut. And we are having central heating system installed in our house, for example. You cannot do it yourself, or you are not able to do it. You usually ask a person, of course for money, and you use their service. Well, in the lesson 3, you will learn how to compare prices of different services and how to make wish sentence. I think this sounds very interesting, right? Well, this structure, noun or subject plus verb plus comparative adjective. And then the use of signal word, say then. You always compare two different people, object or things with another. I'm happier than yesterday. So here you can see we have some endings. In comparative, we add er to an adjective, and the letter y changes into I. Well, here in the table you can see comparative adjectives. There are 4 types of adjectives. 1 syllable adjectives, 2 syllable, 3 or more syllables, and irregular adjectives. Well, 1 syllable. What does syllable mean? Let's try to determine or identify. Syllable means if there is a vowel in one word, that means it is a 1 syllable word. For example, long, straight. Let's do like that. For example, you just clap your, I can just put my mark here. You clap your hands while you are counting syllables in words. For example, long, well, straight, big. So these are 1 syllable adjectives. Or 2 syllable adjectives are honest. You see 2 vowels in this word. Then happy, narrow, and 3 or more syllables. So as I said, you clap your hands while you are counting syllables. Expensive, there are 3 syllables. Popular, confident, or we have the last one, irregular adjectives. So irregular adjectives are not many, they are few. So you have to just remember all of them because there are not many. but the rest of the adjectives you have to count syllables, as I did right now. Well, as I told you, in comparative adjectives, we usually add addings er, and if it has one syllable. So in the next column, you can see two syllables. If the word has two syllables, you usually hear, if the word has two syllables, Y changes into I, and you add er. And three or more syllables. What does it mean? As I have already counted these syllables, this is a bit different from two columns. So in this case, you add the word more expensive, more popular. There's a question, why? Because these words has three syllables. More confident. And the last one, irregular adjectives. Irregular adjectives, you must remember all these irregular adjectives, not to confuse. For example, the word changes totally. Good changes into better. Bad, worse. Far, farther. Many, more. Little, less. Or far, further. And let's see, I'll take my marker. Well, if you look at your book to page 84, there's a role play. Unfortunately, we're not in the classroom, so we can't work in pairs or in teams. So let's just try to make it on our own. So I'll try to explain what kind of table is this. Well, there are three columns, you see. Price list, appointments for the day, costs for a day. This is the price list for hairdressers, right? So washing costs £10, cutting for women cost £25, cutting for men £15, blow dry. Well, what does it mean, blow dry? Blow dry, getting your hair to look as great as it does, to make it perfect, as you, more unusual. Well, and coloring, to change your hair color. For example, if your hair is black, you change it into, let's say, brighter color, brown. And then perm. Perming means using chemicals to change hair texture. For example, if your hair is curly, you can make it straight. If your hair is straight, you can make it curly or wavy, in order to make wavy or curly. Well, and then new style, you change your hair totally different into, for example, if your hair is long, you make it shorter. Appointments for the day. So here you can see, I think this is the schedule of one of the hairdressers, and appointment at 9 with Mrs. Smith, and she's going to have her hair cut and washed. And at 9 with Mr. Duff, he's going to have his hair cut and colored. And of course, we have an appointment at 11 o'clock with Mrs. White, and she's going to make her hair perm. And at 12, Wiki Tea, cut and wash. And last one, at 1 o'clock with Mrs. Pitt, she's going to have her hair washed and blow dry. This is the blow dry. Okay. And of course, she is expecting a lot of money for these days, and of course she has some expenditures. She must spend her money. For example, costs for a day. She must pay for electricity, £10, and towels, for example, washing or buying, I'm not sure, £10 for towels, and cleaning, and for rent £30, shampoo, £15, and for equipment. Well, and here you can see the prices of different services and use the phrases in the cloud. As I told you, you use comparative adjectives when you try to compare two different things or people. For example, one is different from another. So here in the cloud you can see cheaper than, more expensive than, greater than, and less than. So there are 4 sentences, and you should use using these words, you must fill and make this sentence correctly. The cost of a perm, you know what does perm mean? Yes, you use chemical structures. And of course, washing, cleaning, that means, and blow dry. You know what does blow dry mean? Yes, you're right. To make your hair better than usual, to make it perfect or excellent, using hair dryer, of course. And then, so price of a haircut for men, price of a haircut for women. So you should look at this table. Price of a haircut for men. Look at the table. The price is different for men and women. So cutting for women is £25, but for men it's less, £15. That means here the price of a haircut for men, for men is cheaper than a price of haircut for women. Well, the cost of a wash and the cost of a haircut. Let's look at the table here. Wash and what? Haircut. Yes, wash and haircut. You see, if it's for women, £25, and wash just for £10. That means, you see, the cost of wash is less than the cost of a haircut, of course. And new style and blow dry. What does it mean, new style? You make your hair different, to look different, better than usual. Well, and which sentence? I wish I had, this context is taken from your book. Of course, you can open your book to page 84 and look at this example. I wish I had longer. Of course, you might have, if you go to a hairdresser, you might have some complaints if he or she did something wrong. You want to change it. I wish my hair wasn't short. I wish I didn't have dark hair. In this case, you can change your hair color and use hairdresser service. Here you can see long hair, fair hair. What does fair hair? Fair hair means blonde hair, curly hair, and you don't want your hair to be curly, or you don't want, for example, if your hair is naturally curly and you want, of course, straight. Beautiful, fringe, and fair. Well, how to express wishes in English? We use wish to express that we regret something, or we would like to change something, and we want something to be different than the way it is. For example, wish plus past simple, the second form of the verb, past participle, right? Well, we in this form we use when we want a situation in present or future to be different. I wish I ate more vegetables. At the time of speaking, you say, oh, I wish I ate more vegetables, but I don't like it. Next one, wish plus past continuous. We want to be doing a different activity in the present or future. At the time of speaking, something happening, and you want to be different. I wish it weren't raining right now. You can't stop it by force. You can't stop it yourself, but you don't like it. You just want to stop it, and you wish it weren't raining. Wish plus a past perfect. We use this structure when you talk about something you regret in the past. I wish I hadn't done it. You did something wrong, you don't like it. For example, your parents, you did something that your parents argue or quarrel you, and that's why you have some regret, and you say, I wish I hadn't done it. But it happened, unfortunately. And plus, wish plus would. We want something to happen, usually something annoying or irritating that you don't like it to be happen. I wish the lesson would end. Really? I don't think so. Well, I wish the lesson would end. Well, and then I wish you had listened to me. For example, you're a teacher, you're in the classroom, and children are making a noise, and you really want, especially in teacher's case, you wish your children would listen to you carefully. And I wish you wouldn't borrow my clothes. Sometimes, usually brothers or sisters' clothes, and they really want them not to wear. And they always wish that they wouldn't borrow their clothes. And I wish to make, and the last one, wish plus to infinitive. This structure you use when you want something, the same expression as want, but it's more formal than wish. I wish to make a complaint and would like to see the manager. Well, let's talk about present or future. So we'll cover this unit more clearly, and I have some examples to make it clear. I wish I had a big house, and here we used past simple. I wish I had a big house. That means now your house is smaller than the one you want, and you always wish to have a bigger house. In this case, you use wish plus past simple, and at the time of speaking, and plus in the future. I wish we didn't work today. Well, usually hard workers work a lot, and even sometimes at the weekends, and they are thinking about not to work, and they wish they didn't work today. For example, at the weekends. I wish I lived close by. For example, you have a close friend, but that friend lives far from your house, and you wish you lived close by him or her. I wish John wasn't busy tomorrow. John wasn't busy tomorrow. For example, you really want to have you really want to go on a date with him, and you want him not to be busy. And I wish I were or was. In this structure, you can use was or were, both of them, or either of them. I wish I were rich. At the time of speaking, you're not as rich as you want, and you always wish, I wish I were rich. Well, talk about present future you want to be doing. Wish plus past continuous. I wish I were lying on a beach now. For example, you're working in your office and you are very busy or tired. You don't want to work. You just stop working and you wish, I wish I were lying on a beach now. Somewhere far from your, for example, far from your workplace. I wish it were not raining. Some people don't like rainy weather, and because they don't want to get wet, or they don't want to carry their umbrellas. They always wish it were not raining or just stopped raining. And I wish you were not leaving. For example, a person who you really love and you don't want them go somewhere, and you wish they were not leaving you. And talk about the regrets from the past that have already planned. Of course, many people have regrets from, for example, such as learning English. They say, I wish I hadn't studied harder at school. Or they say, I wish I hadn't learned English when I was younger. Or they say, I wish I had met you earlier. For example, you met a person who you really love, and you want and you wish you had met her earlier or him earlier. And yesterday you had a party with your friends. You danced, you ate, you enjoyed the party, and unfortunately you ate so much, and the next day you regret, and you say, I wish I hadn't eaten so much yesterday at the party. Well, that we don't like, and we want usually about other people. Wish plus would. We usually use this structure when you don't like or you don't want, usually about other people. You want something, you want to change something about them. I wish John wouldn't eat all the chocolates, because John usually eats all the chocolates in the fridge or in the refrigerator. And for example, John is your brother or sister, and he really likes eating chocolates, and you wish your brother or your friend wouldn't eat all the chocolates or sweets. I wish my neighbor would be quiet. Of course, elderly people, in their case, they usually prefer a very quiet place where there is no noise. I wish my neighbors would be quiet. Or sometimes for us, for young people, we really want that nobody makes a noise. And you wish, for example, your little brother would be quiet. I wish I wouldn't smoke. I wish I wouldn't, or I wish he wouldn't smoke. For example, your husband is a heavy smoker and you don't like it, and you wish he wouldn't smoke and he stopped smoking. And I wish you wouldn't talk a lot. There are some students, of course, in my class as well. They are very talkative students, or sometimes they are very active, and you wish your students wouldn't talk a lot. And wish plus infinitive, I have already told you that has another meaning with want. I wish to talk to Mr. Smith. That means you want to talk. I wish to visit you this summer, somewhere far from you. I wish to meet my close friends. And yes, happy time. Homework. I think you really enjoyed my lessons. Well, your homework is Make 10 sentences using comparatives and make 10 sentences for wish. Okay? Yes. Thank you. Goodbye.